Hello, everybody. Good evening. Happy Monday. I hope the start of your week is going out great. Please let me know if you are here. Um, Leave a comment. Also, if you have read what we are discussing tonight, Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole, leave a star emoji. If you haven't read it, put a sad face emoji. But get settled because I know I'm really excited to read this tonight. So welcome. I'm Sam. This is my channel. April may or may not make it tonight. Unfortunately, she had a church thing come up last minute and she might be able to make it in time, but she might not. So bear with me. I didn't like it's not I didn't put this off, right? Like reading, but I prefer to read our book club picks like right before our discussion. However, it just got crazy and so I started reading it like I was on chapter like 3 yesterday morning. Yeah, and then I was sucked in and I finished it at like 11:30 last night, and from there, my brain was just like thinking of everything and uh I mean, I tabbed quite a bit, which I'm not a huge tabber, but I tabbed quite a bit. Uh and then my husband had to wake up for work at 4:30 this morning. And I'm a light sleeper, so I didn't get a lot of sleep today. So if I seem a little bit loopy and out of it, I am. But yes, let me know if you were able to read it. We won't talk about spoilers just yet, but pretty soon. So if you haven't read it, let me know. Hi, Yvette. Excited to discuss. Yes, yes. Read it. Wendy read it. Ooh, hi. I'm so excited for the discussion. Hi, Tam. I finished it in time. I'm super proud. Good job, Wendy. I'm proud of you too. Yes, yes. Hi, Sarah. I just finished 2 seconds ago. Hey, you finished. I was able to get the Amazon Audible free trial for 3 months, and the audio was on there, which I think it's only on Audible, which I apologize for that. We try to find books that are accessible to everyone, and sometimes it's just hard when like these hyped up books that we all want to read um, aren't as accessible. But I was re-listening to the audio today. I only got halfway through it, but oh my goodness, I am so excited. So the way this will go is I have a couple questions and we'll discuss. I have some like basic questions. I have some like very specific questions. But honestly, I feel like this is a book that like April and I this morning, we were just going off and like, what about this and what about that? And so I'm bummed that April's not here right now. But I just want to let you guys know that she loved it. I loved it. We were so excited to just like get into this world. And if you weren't aware, this is the first book of the Kindred Curse saga, and the fourth book comes out the 31st, which is Wednesday, I think. Um, so that's pretty exciting. So if you want to continue, we did not have to wait long. You can zip right through 3 more books if you would like. I loved this book. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I tabbed this so much. And I've heard great things about it, so I had high expectations. So we'll get into talking about spoilers and everything right now. So if you have not read it, which I haven't seen anyone yet that hasn't, um, you just might want to leave. We will talk about things. My husband offered to step in to help discuss this. However, he didn't read it. And I was like, no, I want you to read this. You will not have the spoilers. um, So, we will get to it. I am the type of person that I wanna know right away what your rating is. So, out of 5 stars, let me know what your rating is because I personally think that, like, when I know someone's rating, when I kinda can, like, tell, like, their comments and where they're coming from, and then maybe we can change it. Maybe it can go up, maybe it'll go down after the discussion. I like to know right away, um, what your rating is. I think I think she might have pushed out the 4th book. Okay, so I was like I said, my brain my mouth is talking faster than my brain tonight. I have noticed some people were, like, reading it, but then I saw that it was getting like, when I keep looking it up, I'm having a hard time, like, finding any information about it. I thought it said the 31st. Maybe it was of a different year. Um, sorry. Um, it's so hard because I wanna research everything, but I don't want spoilers. Because I guess I didn't look at the year either. Um Oh, shoot. Oh, no. I said want to read. Oh my gosh, guys. Um, yeah, it says published date July 31st, 2024. Um, but I know that she came out like, this series just came out last year? Yeah, the first one came out June 2023, so she did a great job at, like, getting it done, so hopefully it doesn't come off as rushed, but, I think there's a delay now with the 4th book. People said pre-orders were canceled on Amazon. Ooh, darn it. Maybe that's just with, the physical books. I honestly I kept trying to look it up on Amazon and I couldn't find it, so then I was looking it up on Goodreads, and that's where it says the published date. So, I loved it. I can't wait to get to the next one. I tab mine quite a bit too. Yay. I went and bought all the rest because it is being picked up traditionally and I don't wanna miss out. Yes. Um, I rated a 4 on Goodreads, and Sarah said 4.25 to 4.5. The Kindle also got removed for the 4th. Ooh, yeah, maybe they're like, "Hold up, let's do a little bit more editing before we push it out," but at least it's, like, close. So, I mean, if you haven't already, like, continued in the series, you still have, like, time, and you hopefully won't have a ridiculously long wait, at least. Not like us that are waiting for, the next Fourth Wing, for Onyx Storm or, the next ACOTAR book. Pencool posted that she'll update when she has a release date, probably because it was just picked up traditionally. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you guys for keeping me up to date. I feel like I haven't been looking into stuff. I haven't been online much. 3.5, but obviously liked it enough to buy them all. Okay, I'll let you know. For me, it was a 5 stars. But I say that with like, I love this so much and I want to read more. Do I think this will be my favorite book? No, I don't think it'll be my favorite book. I feel like there's a lot of open-ended things that I need to know more about. Um, but I've already been like thinking about it all day today, and I know it's something that's gonna stick with me. So it's like a 5 stars. But like I said, I don't think it'll be my favorite out of the whole series. Um, the urge to buy them all is so strong. She said they'll still be on KU, so I'm glad for that. That's awesome. Yeah, that's where I'm hoping to read the next ones on. I literally just heard this randomly yesterday. Makes me seem so knowledgeable. And that I feel like that's how it is in the bookish world. I mean, there's some people that they're in the know and they know the resources and they keep up to date on those. I'm not one of those people, I should be. Sometimes I hear information right away and I'm like, "Boom," like, I have it, like, that's how I felt with Onyx Storm, like, I watched when they released it and everything, but I just happened to see that, um, Rebecca Yarros was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be live and announcing something," and it's like, there's just so many people to follow and so many different publishers. To me, it's crazy, but I'm thankful for the people that do know and keep us up to date. 4 to 4.5 just finished, so need to think about it some more. I can totally understand that. I read so many bad books this month that this was a 5 for me. Oh, no. I felt like I've had a great reading month, um, but I also do feel like because I read it almost the whole thing yesterday, to me, not only because I was like, "I have to get it done," but when I can sit that long with a book, because I'm kind of an anxious person, that to me says a lot about a book and how I feel about it. So, I can't wait. I bought the other 2 already. Yes, if money wasn't an issue, I would have the other 2, but thankfully, I have Kindle Unlimited, so I'll be, reading them on there, but then I'm gonna need trophies. For sure. So, okay, we heard everybody's rating. Who was your favorite character? Um, Obviously, this takes place with DM's point of view. So, to me, she was my favorite, but there are some awesome characters that I really enjoyed. And I also think that's how I know if I'll be connected to a series is how connected I am to the characters. And I just loved so many of the characters and felt really attached to a lot of them. Um, I also wanna say I am very thankful for DM and being a tall girl. I am not that tall. I'm like 5'6", 5'7", which some people consider super tall. My husband's family thinks I'm super tall for a girl. I don't think it's super tall, but there are so many of these fantasies where they're like, short girls, and I'm thankful for that, but I was really happy when they, like, said that she was pretty tall. I was like, "Yes, we have a tall girl who didn't have to get transformed, to be taller." So, I really felt with DM, like, a lot of the stuff that she, like, felt and just, like, the way she's a little reactive sometimes. I know my mouth sometimes goes a lot faster than my brain, and, anger, I definitely deal with, like, anger and jealousy and have a short temper, so I could definitely relate to her. But I also loved her brother Teller, I loved her dad, I loved, Princess Lily. Oh my gosh, she was so sweet. She just made me so happy. Um, and then I apologize if I, like, forget some of the names or I forget how to pronounce some of the names, um, because some of these were a little different, but, like, I also appreciated, like, Mora. I just really and then Luther. Like, Luther, also very much in love with him. I like DM, but so much time was like, "Oh, come on." Yes. Um, I do agree with that. Sometimes I feel like there's stuff that she should have known, especially when it was like, do you just you're in denial? Like, you have to be in denial. I apologize. My internet is kinda lagging. I did like DM, but I don't love her quite yet. I think I will like her more as it goes on. Yes. I also can relate of, like, feeling just, like, overwhelmed by amount of stuff and, like, grief. Like, she's feeling grief of her missing mother and, like, all of these things are happening to her, and she just feels overwhelmed and chaotic and not knowing really what to understand. And to me, I'm like, I feel that right now. Also, with her feeling like she doesn't know where she is in life, I don't know. There's some books that just hit you when you need them, and I felt like this one really just resonated with me. So okay, I'm gonna butcher her name even though I had the audio. Sore, yes, we will talk more about her in the future, but, also, I've never heard of a Gryvern before. That was new to me. I tried to look up, like, fan art and, just pictures of a Gryvern and really didn't find one yet, so all of the artists out there, like, we need fan art of Sore because, yes, I cannot wait for more to happen. Like, there has to be more that happens with her, right? Like, has to be. And Yummy Luther, yes. I really, was like, "Okay, we'll see how this goes," and then I mean, it didn't take very long, and I'm like, "Swoon." Kicking my feet. I love banter. I love, like, bickering and, like, poking and teasing and, I love it. She did irritate me at times. I even wrote little notes like, "Why does she keep doing these things?" And Henry is God fucking damn it, Dane vibes. I know, okay, we'll try not to spoil too many things. I actually discussed that specifically with April, why I think they are different. I think they are very different, actually. But I don't wanna do spoilers to people who haven't read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. Um, but I feel like they're different. And I'll just say this so there's not spoilers, for, the Fourth Wing books, but with Henry, uh, he to me is doing things because he thinks he knows what is right, and he thinks that he can just do whatever he wants to make it right, where I don't really think that's the case with the other books, with the other character. Hi Jess, thanks for stopping by. I need more time with all the characters. I did enjoy Luther a lot. Can't wait for more. So before I got to the end of the book, when she was saying goodbye to Luther, I was like, no, I need more. I need more of him. And then when she became queen, I was like, more Luther? That means more Luther, right? Yeah. Hi, Wendy. Hi to everybody. Yes, she came off as immature and naive a lot, but I tried to take it as an account on how protected she has been. Yes, I felt like um her knowing nothing about the royalty to me showed like how in the dark she really was. And then kind of like when you live in a small community where everyone thinks very similarly, you hear those things of like the descendants are um soulless, emotionless. They have no feelings. Like you have these people projecting their own ideas and then everything rumors tend to get, like when you play the game telephone and things end up changing and overexerted, and I think that was the author trying to show how little she realizes, and I think it shows like the trust that she had in her mom and the faith that she had in her mom. She believed that these hallucinations were her father, her bio father had these issues. So it wasn't like it couldn't be magic. It couldn't be that she was something else. Like I think she trusted her mother so much and believed that like her whole world now is just getting shook up. That, and I believe that she reacts to things without thinking them through. And I think that's why she comes off naive. Um, but I totally understand why that could get bothersome. I feel like if I would have read this slower, I would have been bothered by it, but to me, I'm like, it made sense for her character and what's uh coming. I think Henry is being manipulated and he's gullible, but so is she. She just kind of believes everything she's told. Oh, see, I feel like Henry isn't manipulated. I feel like he is the one that's like, no, he sees these things and he feels it so passionately the other way. Um, and like he is so aggressive. Um, she is very gullible. Um, I mean, so am I. But I feel like when, when you trust certain people so deeply and they're telling you certain things, it's easy to fall for that kind of thing. But then all of a sudden, Henry's telling her all of these things that kind of contradict. So I could see where that would be like, wait, I trust him and I trust my parents. Who's right, And I could understand like being in her shoes, how that'd be hard. We are we on to least favorite character? Because I could have killed Henry many times. I agree. See, to me, I don't like Henry either. In the beginning, I was like, he's not gonna last. He's not gonna stay around at all. We can totally do least favorite character. Um, well, okay, so this kind of goes all in together. Like, what relationships did you love and hate? Because I at first, like, I understood, like, the whole, "Oh, he's been my best friend my whole life," trope, and then how, like, they become different people as they grow up. I could totally, like, understand that, and I feel like I'm very curious on what Henry is going to think now that Diem is, I mean, the queen and the descendant and everything. Like, I have a feeling like he's going to turn to hate and not be understanding and kind. He never listened or trusted her, always chose everyone over her and expected her to conform to his beliefs. Yes. Um Also, he just like couldn't read the room. Like, could he not understand that she was just not feeling the same things? Like, I got secondhand embarrassment during like the almost proposal and then the actual proposal because I was like, nah, no, dude, like she does not want this. How can you not tell that she's not vibing with this? Um, that really was like weird for me. Excuse me. He's super aggressive, and I agree with that. I didn't like him at all. At first, I like didn't have very big opinions. But the way when he kind of picked on Teller when we first meet him, when Teller and Diem are like picking on each other, I didn't like, especially when I got to re-listen to it, I didn't like the way Henry treated Teller and the things he said. And I think that was just like kind of showing us his true colors and then building up to like, wow, he really believes some strong emotional things. I wanted him out from the moment he was introduced. But he built it all up. We needed him. But yeah, he is not. I like comparing without like spoilers. I would pick Dane over Henry for sure. Reminds me of Dawn of Onyx and Fourth Wing. Yvette, when I didn't get to read too much into your post, but when you said Dawn of Onyx, that was almost like I am very glad that this went like a very different direction because the first couple chapters could only see the exact like parallels of A Dawn of Onyx. I thought it was so similar in so many crazy ways. So I am thankful it has like kind of found its different way and its different spins on it because um I don't mind it when books are similar, but I want them to also not be, like, cut and paste of other books. Henry annoyed me, but I saw him as a necessary plot point to show the other side of the upcoming war, how humans are oppressed and all of that. Agreed. I also thought, it is kind of interesting because he brought up points of the school that Teller's going to, how eventually they experiment on them. Like, do they actually experiment on them? Or is that just an exaggeration that he has been led to believe? Um, I also am so curious. I personally don't think he is going to um necessarily ever come to the like nicer side or find like middle ground. I think he's going to turn into quite an extremist in the story. I love DM and her brother and DM and the other healer. Yes. Um DM and her brother, I totally felt the like picking on each other, but then at the same time, like they would get very defensive and protective of each other. And if that's not a sibling relationship, I don't know what is. Like I can pick on my brothers, but heaven forbid if anyone comes at them, like big sister in me comes out. And I felt like the author did a great job at portraying that. And I also really enjoyed Mora when she wanted DM to be happy. I like to me it was like that she truly cares. Excuse me. Been talking a lot. I will say I also loved DM and her father though. Or her stepfather, I should say. Um that little bit when talked about the first time he saw her, I literally was like cries in daddy issues. He annoys me like Dane. He's on my god fucking damn it Dane list. And of course, DM and Luther. Oh my gosh. I like even though I felt like we didn't get a ton of Luther, I am a slow burn girly and I loved that they didn't end up together in the first book. Like I love that. I mean, I'm hoping that they they get together in the series, but I do really kind of enjoy, especially because it wasn't a super long book that they weren't instantly together, but you can feel the attraction and there's so much I have questions on like are they fated mates? Like is this like a fated mates thing? Like they can feel each other's magic? How does that work? Are okay, I also have like another question about them in the future too. I'm a little nauseous saying it, but yeah, I prefer Dane. I know that's saying a lot for you, Wendy. I think he's gonna be an a-hole and then he's going to die. That's my prediction. I agree with that. I also feel like he is going to dig his own grave but I feel like he's gonna do some bad stuff first. Uh and I can't wait. I can't wait to see what happens. I hope he dies and doesn't get a redeeming arc. I don't think he is one that would get one. To me, the way she is writing his character and how intense he is, I just don't see him coming back. But I could be wrong. I really am Team Luther. Love me a shadow daddy. Oh, yeah. For sure. And like, we love touch her and die. Like him being protective and all of that from the get go makes me so happy. I apologize if you can hear slamming doors and whatnot. My little oldest brother is here and my husband is here, so just lots of noise. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. I adored Diem and Luther so much. Yes. I also love Teller and Lily. I know we didn't get to see them together, but them talking about each other has me so scared, but, like, so, like, little schoolgirl, like, oh my gosh, they are so cute. Like, I need more to happen with Teller and Lily. Yes, the touch her and die, love his protectiveness, yes. I like, when that happened, I was like, "Hoo-wee," and the fact that, like, he, like, knew she was in the hallway or, like, didn't know, and, like, he still, like, didn't turn her over, he left her with the king, like, he knows something's going on, um, and, he could've treated her like crap, he could've been, like, really mean to her, and he decided to stab his own guard to protect her. Teller and Lily are so cute. Yeah, I just the way they talk about each other, like the blushing, the giggling, and the fact that like he is said to be like so intelligent and she appreciates that about him and the way they talk about each other just has me oh, I'm so scared that something's going to happen to them because re-listening to the first book, the prologue is kind of scary. It was kind of like when the first time I read it, I was really confused and then I'm curious how that is going to play into everything. Sounds like dogs are falling down the stairs. Sorry. Protect them at all costs. Yes. I just don't know where this could potentially go. He knew her worth. Yes. She didn't. DM's like, "Me? No, not me." I think you said that in your Instagram post. Like, how could that be me? It's like, girl, like, come on. How did you not put these together? Also, though, how did Henry not put that together? How does Henry, knowing everything that he knows about the descendants and about the like royalty and everything, how did he take everything for face value? Like he knew about the flame root. He knew so much stuff. How was he not putting pieces together? You know? Like that also to me cuz I was like that how can everyone just not see it? But to me it made sense for DM because she was trying to trust and have faith in people that she like cared about. But with Henry, I'm like you should have known that. Ugh, Luther. He is like quickly growing on my like bookish boyfriends. I could see behind his actions that Luther really likes Diem and he knows something about them and can't wait to know what it's hinting for their future. I agree. That's I feel like there it and I pun intended, like the sparking chemistry that you can just like feel the pull of each other like, yes. Who? Me? Oh, come on. Also, multiple times does magic wasn't me. Yes, it was. Yes. Exactly. Like Luther like met her like a couple times and was like, "Do you don't know what's going on?" And she's like, "Nope, not me." I want to know what Luther knows because he totally knows a lot, but it sounds like he doesn't know everything. I agree. I feel like because he when she's like unconscious but like kind of hearing, he made the comment which I don't think I highlighted, which would have been a great thing to highlight was I think it was then um if he made sorry, brain fart. He was like what if she's the one or something along those lines. Also on page 385 he says, "What if our story isn't over, DM Ballador? What if it's only the beginning?" Like, he knows something's, like, happening. And to me, it was like, yes, we need to know. We need to know more. DM needs to get her crap together. But how did Henry not know? Okay. I'm gonna skip that one for a second. We'll come back to it. Going along with favorite relationships and this, like, what was your favorite, like, part or scene? I also have, like, what was your favorite quote? So whatever however you wanna answer that, if you wanna answer both, if you only wanna answer part of it, whatever, do what you want. Um, I personally loved it when he, like, takes her back to his room and, like, saves her and takes care of her, and, I should say Luther like, takes care of her, um, and nurtures her and everything because that was just swoon worthy right there. Sorry, I'm trying to look through my notes. Like I said before, when DM's stepfather talks about how he knew he wanted to marry DM's mother and like the quote of like the look the first time I saw you or yeah, I took one look at the two of you and realized there was no sacrifice I wouldn't make to keep you both in my life. That had me tearing up. I was like, "That is so sweet." I love a good stepfather vibe. Um, so I loved that. Um, the whole scene where she goes in to save those who she puts in harm's way. Y'all, I get like when I read, especially from like the first person point of view, I like feel their feelings and I felt sick. I felt like, oh my gosh, not only did she like break this sacred vow of like being a healer, but then people died because of it, because of like some little information she gave up. My heart broke for her. And so the fact that she was willing to go even without her medical supplies and go into the burning building and do whatever she could, even though there were other people who would have probably been a little bit better at doing it, but they weren't willing to sacrifice themselves. Like, oh, that was so it was intense. It was very intense. Yeah, the fire scene and then him saving her, that was intense, and I loved all of that. Yeah, I think that really just showed her character, and it really took the lines of saying, like, "Fight, fight, fight." Like, she knew in her that she shouldn't have done it, but it's kind of like one of those things, like, until you make mistakes like that, you have a hard time catching yourself and stopping it, and, like, she wanted to fit in with the Guardians. She wanted to, like, get that praise and feel a part of something, like she was doing better, and then as soon as she realized that she wasn't doing better, she did everything in her ability to make it better, and I thought that was really, really awesome. I really liked and highlighted when she says, "I fumbled for my training, racking my brain for some pertinent lessons on how to fight off an enemy you couldn't seem to resist, but the only words of my fathers that surfaced were utterly useless and horrifying mad. The truth is that I just knew." That's a really good quote. Um, what page is that on? Do you have the page, Wendy? 'Cause I might want to highlight that too. Um, I I really enjoyed like how she was willing to, like, explore things in herself even though she was very naive, but she also, like her dad trained her, which I realized that he was in the military, he knew all that. Okay, 381. But why, I also feel like the dad knows more than the dad knows more than he's letting on because he knows why the mom is gone. I believe he solely like, he knows why the mom is gone, and he's keeping that from his kids, and it sounds like this wasn't, like, a one-time thing, so I think that's a big reason that he taught them to fight too, because he knows something else is happening. Um, yep, and the truth is I just knew. And yes, I think she's finding herself, and, I mean, the poor girl was getting, like, drugged by her mom. I mean, so, like, she said that her senses always felt hazy, her brain always felt hazy, so maybe that explains a lot why too she didn't see these obvious signs. And she truly thought she was hallucinating, which is kind of sad. I mean, I would kind of not trust my parents, after, like, I'm sure there's gonna be some issues with that in the future. I also loved it, just like any of the DM and Teller parts. I just loved their sibling bonds and how they would like poke fun at each other, and they would see each other like get all red and blush, and there's just that made me so happy. The way she threw it all into the lake though before knowing the repercussions could have just hidden it. Yeah, okay, that also, one thing I was confused about is, like, her satchel of flame root or, like, she had flame root in her to-go bag or whatever, and she couldn't find it. Where did it go? And so now I kind of feel like Henry might know something, and Henry is trying to control her for other reasons, because to me, I was like, yeah, like, she got rid of it all, but then all of a sudden she's like, "No, there should have still been this one." I was like, "Where'd it go?" You know? I feel like the dad knows the mom left, but I do wonder if he truly knows what his wife is involved in. Yeah, I don't think he knows everything, um, but I think he knows a lot more than he's letting on. Um, Especially because he's like, "Oh, she's coming back," and it's like, okay, you have to know that they're like, why would you lie to your children about having no idea? Like, yes, you think she's coming back, but, like, I don't like, to me, it would have to be a pretty big thing for it to be months and months and months for something to happen, for him to be like, "Oh, yeah, she's gonna come back." Like, I'd be terrified. What's she doing for that whole time? I agree about her throwing it in the lake. I'm like, you promised you would start taking it if you started hallucinating again," but then she throws it all away. Yeah, and I thought that was, like, a sign of where she just doesn't think things through. She will feel a certain way, and it's like an all or nothing, you know? Like, when she was going into, um, the castle or whatever, she couldn't stop herself from, you know, standing up for herself. She couldn't stop her reaction from happening, and I think that that was a reason of her, like, being like, "This crazy lady told me to stop taking it, and this is the only way I'm gonna stop taking it is that if I can't have it anymore." Um, because also that would, like, freak me out. Someone who knew so many of your secrets that no one's supposed to know, and then your brain is coming off of not taking this anymore, and then you think that you're having these hallucinations, but it's actually your magic. I mean, I would be kind of feeling little crazy. I also wonder who the woman is who is in charge of the guardians. Oh, because they did say that the women are. Oh, I didn't pick up on that. That is a good point. That is a good point. I really thought uh, when Luther rescues her, and then she's like, the woman's voice sounded familiar. I'm like, it's her mom. It's her mom. It wasn't. I was like, never mind. That was wrong. I was not correct. Also, when she dipped out in the castle, like no one will notice I am running away. Yeah, that to me, I was like, that is not a plan. But I'm also thankful because sometimes characters in like books are just like they can do no wrong. You know, they like always get out of it. And don't get me wrong, she got herself out of it, but it was only because Luther knew something else like was going on, and that's why he's like, "Nah, I can't I can't punish her." But yeah, she just reacts and it's like, "Girl, where did that plan was not gonna work. That was not smart at all." Do you think the voice in her head is the crazy lady? No, but I'm gonna sit and ponder about that now. I was gonna ask, I didn't make it a question, but who do you guys think is the voice in her head? Because I'm going back and forth of like it being like some fated connection or it just being like the magic. I don't know. I am so like confused and not sure, but also like really excited to find that out in the future. Um, but now I'm gonna sit and think about that, Wendy. Like, that is interesting. I love theories. Like this is I I think that's why I really like this book is because after I finish reading it, my brain is like, "Well, what about that? Well, what about this? Well, what about that?" And I start thinking about all these things that could tie together or could not. And that is something that like I love with fantasies is wanting to know how it fits together right away. Le magic. Yeah, I just like when she heard voices in her head, it made me think of One Dark Window. And I was like, maybe she is hallucinating. I was thinking the voice was Soray, I think it is. The Wyvern knew she was next and was already having the mental connection. I love that. I can totally see that. My inner fourth wing fan is screaming. I love that, Sarah. That is such a good observation and theory. I am so excited. Okay, I'm just gonna clear off my TBR and I'm gonna just continue on this series because I need answers. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, speaking of our favorite Gryvern, um, what what three creatures, if you could put together, would you form to make your own mystical creature? I honestly could say I really like I was not expecting a sea dragon, lion, and an eagle. That really like this I guess like the sea dragon part threw me off because I was like, "Ooh, so we got lots of different types of dragons," you know? To me, that was, really interesting, and then, like, I'm just having, like, the hardest time of picturing it because then it talked about, like, having iridescent scales that, like, the color of when oil is on water, which then I'm like, is it like, is the creature black iridescent or like white iridescent, like opal iridescent or onyx iridescent? And that's like some things like re reading everything and like looking at the details. I can't wait. I really hope like there is some fan art because it said that she had scales and feathers, which is wild. So if I had to make a magical creature, I would do okay, that's gonna sound totally like wild, but now I'm gonna blank on it. Okay. So while I would love to fit oh, maybe now I'm gonna change my answer. Okay. So I want like a cow head, and then I was gonna have like a horse body and legs, or maybe like a cow head and cow body and horse legs. Just so like I don't know if you've seen cows run, they're not really graceful. Horses are a little bit more graceful. And then, like, I was gonna do eagle wings, but maybe I want, like, dragon wings. I pretty much want a Pegasus in cow form, you know? That that would be my magical creature. I had to do something like this in art class in high school, and I don't remember what I ended up doing. Because we had to, like, draw it and do everything, but I think, like, I have just been, like, missing cows, and, like, cows are my favorite animal, and I'm like, "I just want a big grass puppy with wings," but, they're not super graceful, so, like, maybe horse legs. I thought the, um the fact that the, Gwyvern was part of the sea, land, and sky was a really cool concept, and I can't wait for more of that to, like, figure out. Um, that's the best magical cow. I just was like, I love, like, Pegasus, and I think that'd be so cool. Um, but like a cow, like, cows don't get enough attention as magical beings. It's always donkeys. Like, why can't it be a cow? Like a fluffy horse with cow spots that can fly. I like it. Yeah, that's why I was thinking more like, cause like, the only thing that throws me off with the Gwyvern is the scales and feathers, like, I don't the texture bothers me, like, I want them to be like Buckbeak from Harry Potter, where, like, it just, like, transitions well, like, he's got, like, feathers most of the way, and then, like, hooves. So when they said that she had both scales and feathers, I'm like, my textured part of me is like, cringe." But if I see it, it might be like different. So that's why I was thinking feathers and fur would be closer than scales and fur. But you never know. A fox with wings. That could you imagine, like, already how, like, foxes, like, pounce, like, with wings? They would, like, hover even more and then pounce even more. Oh, adorable. I love that. Hey, Unicow Pegasus. I love it. We all need to, like, Photoshop our animals. Oh, but with the personality of a dog, perfection. I mean, so, like, when I think of a cow, I'm thinking of, like, a Jersey cow, because to me, Jerseys are just big, big puppies. They're just curious. They get themselves into trouble, but they are so cute and fun and loving. My dog Branson heard cute and lovable, and he's just outside my door. I'd say dragon, cat, and not sure what else. Yeah, the third creature really, like, threw me. It's pretty easy to come up with 2, and then the third one, you're like, "Oh." But I like that it did all, like, sky, land, and sea. I thought that was interesting. I'm also curious about other mythical creatures because they really didn't talk about any other mythical creatures really in the whole book. So to have such, like, a unique, rare creature, I think that's, like, crazy. I love Buckbeak. So do I. So do I. Um, okay, so let's move on. Okay, we kinda talked about this. Oh, no, never mind. Sorry, I went out of order and now I'm confusing myself. Um, okay. Who do you think is DM's father? I I'm not sure. I really thought it was the king. And then the whole talk about the descended, like, marrying cousins, and then if the king was DM's father, then Luther would be her cousin, and that's not frowned upon, but I will tell you that will give me major ick vibes. But then in the epilogue, I that made me, like, have doubts, like, now I'm not sure what the heck is going on. I really wanna reread it and try to come up with, more chaotic theories, but I'm really curious how that's all gonna fit in together. Like, who do you I should have put biological father. Um, like, am I overthinking it? Do you guys think it's the king? Do you think it's something else that we still need to learn? Because that one I am so curious to find out. Um, yeah, and no rush. I know it's, like, hard to type. Please, not the king. I know. But to me, it was so weird how I don't like, she has to be a descendant somehow, right? Like, it's pretty obvious. But also, is her mom mortal? Her mom would have to be mortal. I guess that's another question. Do you think her mom is mortal? Because then she would be a half-breed, and they technically were supposed to die. But she was born on a special date. Do we think there's a prophecy? Oh, hang on. Uh, there was a hot minute I thought Luther was her father when he was talking to her mom, and I was so confused. I also had that where, um, I when she saw it, she did make the comment that he didn't seem much older, but it's hard to know because they age so differently that I was like, "Oh, it's like, it's gonna be your dad." But then to find out it's not, and it's the king's nephew, then it's kinda like, something's going on with this family, and it might be more than incest. The king wasn't Luther's father, he was an uncle, correct. So that's why they would be cousins, technically, if if, uh if DM's biological father was the king, then Luther would be her first cousin. I think it will be a god, but hopefully not related to the king or Luther. I don't think she'd do that. I don't think so either, but there was a lot of joking. A lot of joking. Maybe it was to, like, throw us off on this, like, goose hunt, like, over here. Like, she's like, they're gonna think they're gonna piece this together, and I'm gonna throw in all of these things to, like, be like, "Oh, they're that the cousin jokes." But that would be ick. Like, please no. Please no. I don't care if in their world it makes sense. Please no. She's gonna be a pureblood, not a descendant. That would make sense too. Um, so does that mean her so do you think her mom is her biological mom? Or do you think her mom is magical too? Wasn't there an old god that disappeared at some point? I forget now, but I think he's the father. I read this too many weeks ago, all of 2 weeks ago. Um, so was getting kinda lost and confused at a lot of, like, the backstory. I, like, when I read stuff first time through, a lot of the times I'm like, blah, 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 with some of that stuff. So I know there was a lot of talk of like how the worlds came together, the gods, the all of that. And I don't personally know at this moment. So if anyone else remembers, I definitely need to like reread and like not just listen to fully understand it, but I also feel like that's something that will get pieced together in the future. But that would make sense too. Um, there's just so many things. Like, so yeah, at the end, it sounded like the creature was gone or something. I didn't really understand the epilogue, and I really like want to reread it, like just the epilogue, to try to understand it better. But I also feel like this is a book that the things that we don't understand are going to make up in the other books. So sometimes I'm just like, I'm along for the ride. um, okay. Then did you guess that DM was going to be queen? I totally picked up on it. As soon as the Gwyvern soiree was like acting weird to her, I'm like, that's happening, and I think, like, her magical powers, like, I think we all knew she was gonna be the chosen one, um, but will be honest, I was kinda getting to the point where I didn't think the king was going to die and the transfer of power was gonna happen this book, and I'm glad it ended on the way it did, but, um, yes. Yeah, I felt like that was the one that was, like, pretty apparent. The epilogue was her mom escaping. Okay, like, but didn't she, like, go down the steps and there was, like, blood and, like I don't know, I need to reread it from the 100 gajillion a million miles away. Yeah. Yeah, and, like, I also, like I didn't ask this other question, but I also, like, I knew the mom was alive. I was like, "No, they're not gonna just kill her off at this point." Um So, I did feel like there were things that she's leading us to, but there also are so many questions, like, why did her mom have to go away? And, like, her mom had to go I feel like the king dying and her mom going away are, like, linked, like, she knew he was gonna die, and, like, because of that, she had to go away, but I don't know why. It seemed like her mom was just there on her own, waiting. I didn't get the feeling she was captured. I think the god dad was down there. See, okay, that's where I also was like, this is tying together on how DM is all related to it. But yeah, it kind of felt like she was there and she was waiting for to me the king to die. I think that it said for the king to die. Um or I could have been reading into that way too much. But then, like, they talked about, like, different symbols and different things, and I was like, "That's probably going to play into the next book." Maybe they will bring her back and kill her off the next chapter like other books. Probably. We're, like, waiting for that mother-daughter, reunited, relationship to come back, and then they're gonna be like, "Boom. Nope, sorry. Just kidding. She's gone." I I It also is interesting how Henry mentioned her mom a few times, and so did other guardians. Didn't he say it was her mom that taught him to keep your enemies closer? He did, because I had just gotten to that part re-listening, and that stuck out to me as well, because she was like, "Oh yeah, my dad always said that." He's like, "Your mom said that." And that's where also I'm like, "What? What? Like, how does Henry not know what's happening to DM? Or is he trying to just, like, marry her and, like, control her so she can't go down that way?" Oh, there has to be so much more, you know? I started wondering if her mom was part of the Guardians. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like the Guardians. I'm sure that there's, like, the horrible, horrible, magic people are in other realms are really, really bad, but the Guardians to me, the fact that, like, I knew right away when DM went in and took care of that little girl that, was all covered in, like, the poison whatever, I knew that they did that intentionally, and I was like I also agreed. I actually even tabbed a part where DM said like how can I love so many people on like complete opposite sides of this or yeah. How is it possible for me to love people so deeply on both sides of this war? And yeah, I think it's going to definitely like tear at her. Oh, but I I am going to be like deep thinking all night now. I'm not going to sleep. Or I'm just going to start reading the second book. I love that. I love that in a series. I love like could she be this? Could she be that? What is happening? Who's her father? Who's your daddy? um okay. So just to move on, I know we're starting to get a little bit over an hour. And this kind of goes off with it. Will you continue the series? I know a lot of us already answered this, but what questions are you hoping to get answered? I want to know who DM's daddy is. I want to know what the heck her mom is doing on an island all by herself. I want to know what stepdaddy has up. I want to know what the heck DM is going to do now that she's queen. Also, I will say I was kinda confused when DM was like, "I don't wanna be a healer." Like, that's not what I ever wanted to do, is kind of, like, put upon me, and I was like, "But you're so good at it, like, what else are you gonna do?" Like, she talks about how she's good at fighting, like, you gonna go be in the war? Like, what are you talking about? And then, like, perfectly, she becomes a queen. I'm like, "Well, that's what you're gonna do now, but what were you gonna do before you knew you were gonna be queen?" Um, so that part had me kind of like, what did she plan what did she think she was gonna do with her life? Like, she's such a good healer. She's so empathetic and caring. I mean, she broke code, which apparently she's not that great of a healer. Because even the other, girl that was in the Guardians didn't break code. Um, but I also wanna know, like, is she fated to Luther? Is there more? Is there more connection? Like, yeah, is who's the voice in her head? Why did she take so long to ask Henry about the poison too? I think it's because she knew the answer and she just didn't want to hear it. Like, because it was the same thing, because she didn't ask Luther about her mom either, and she's been dying to find out, like, search for this man, find this man, and I think that's where she just then was like I don't know if she's, like, not ready to accept that her whole world is just chaos, but with the Henry part, I think it was because she just didn't want to hear him say those things because she knew. Preach, Sam. She never had any other dreams. Yeah, that to me I thought was a little lacking. I mean, I'm completely overlooking it for the sake of the book because I just obviously am deep into it, but I was like, what was she gonna do? Like, to me, I thought that was so odd. I did love that Mora, however you say her name, the other healer, how she like showed her she wanted something more. Because there was a part that I highlighted about her not being okay. Like she's like, because I was happy. I had people who loved me, a profession I was good at, and a safe, comfortable future most morals would kill for. I was happy. Really? Really? Like, I think she's been questioning things for a long, long time. And it wasn't just the flame root messing with her. Is it called Flame Root? No, like I think that's what it was called. Um, but yeah, to me, I thought that part was a little off. I cannot wait to continue to read though. Um, and then what books would you recommend for people who like this one? I would totally say A Dawn of Onyx. The beginnings were so similar. Um, what was else I was thinking about? I don't remember the other book I was thinking of right away. But definitely A Dawn of Onyx. I mean, if you like love triangles, ACOTAR, Powerless, Lightlark, literally almost all of like the books that we have picked for book club, that has been it. um, they're not super similar, but like A Dawn of Onyx, I think was like so similar. Um, From Blood and Ash is so similar. I haven't read that yet, but that definitely makes me want to. um, like I said, I do like because I feel like this is going like a different direction. Because at first I was like, this is so similar to A Dawn of Onyx, and then a couple other things I'm like, it's kind of like feels like it comes from other fantasies, but I don't think it copies it. Like a who the heck has a Gwyvern? No one. It's my fave. It's been on my TBR, but I'm like, that's a big series, isn't it? Or like it can be. I still need to read Throne of Glass, y'all. That now I'm getting like I'm so deep into so many books. Fourth Wing had a lot of similarities. Yes, it did. Especially depending on how the Gwyvern play into it too. And if there is a telepathic connection. Yep. I needed this book so much. I haven't read a fantasy in forever, it seems. Aw, I'm so glad that like this helped you get it. Well, hopefully it doesn't put you in a like funk. But now you have like the rest of the series you can read. I love fantasy. It is literally overtaking my life in the best way possible, and I'm forever thankful. I've always been a fantasy girly, but then like adulthood kind of took over that, and now I'm so happy that I've been able to get back into it. And then for our very last announcement, we do not have a book picked for September, so we are bi-monthly every other month. So we will be skipping August, and our next pick will be in September. But we do have two choices that we are very excited about. And I'll let you know what they are now. Okay. Um, Where'd it go? Serpent in the Wings of Night is also a good one. I need to finish that series too because I loved Serpent in the Wings of Night. Loved that book so much. Okay. So, our two options that I'll have up this week on A Tales of Starlight. I will have up on Tales of Starlight Book Club Instagram is sometime this week. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm not making coherent sentences. Sorry guys. It is past my bedtime and my brain is getting wonky. But the two choices are going to be oh wow, I did that weird. I shouldn't have oh my goodness. Apologize. Is the my brain is like firing off and not uh aligning with my mouth. September book club pick options are Ever the Hunted or Trial of the Sun Queen. So I will have a poll up We will also have a poll in our Discord. I apologize. I have been lacking on Discord. I'm hoping this next month to get more active. I'm like an all or nothing on Discord. It's either I'm on Discord every day or I'm not on it at all. So we will have a poll in the Discord, and we'll also have a poll on our Instagram for voting. So you guys can help us pick out of these two which one you want to read next for our September pick, which, oh my gosh, how is it gonna be September the next time we all meet up like this? Choices. Yeah, April and I are just indecisive, and we have like so many books we want to read. So we narrowed down some options so that, and then that way we know like what you guys want to read, and like you guys can be help there to pick with us. Woot. So April, we're just speaking of you. Hey everyone, sorry I missed on this discussion. 5 stars for me. Yes, and I didn't ask because sometimes at the end I ask again, like, what is your rating? Because mine is still 5 stars. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And April loved it. And we've been like chatting all day about all the things. And April, we missed you so much. I hope your night went okay. You can hear me stammering and chit-chatting the whole time, but it was such a fun discussion tonight. I hope we see you guys in September. I hope that you guys vote on which one you want, and keep letting us know like what are other fantasy books. We have a ever growing list of books we want to read, and if you ever have books that you really think would be awesome for us to discuss, just send us a message. We don't bite. April, haven't heard of either of those ones, so sounds fun. Yeah, so we might have also add the fantasy expert Jordan at Jordan Elaine Reads. Also give us some good books or recommendations, because she picks some great books. And we know that like this book has been seen and talked about by a lot of people, but we also like we want to find some books too that are either new or backlisted, so they're a little bit easier to get. We just like to mix it up, you know? So yes, so excited. I haven't heard of Ever the Hunted, but I have heard of the other one. Yes. So I'm excited. I'll make sure to have like the descriptions and how you can like read them, because I do think that like helps play into the options of like what people vote for. Is if like if it's on Kindle Unlimited, can you get it on Libby? Is it Audible only? Like I think all of that stuff definitely plays into making decisions too, and that's why we want to hear your guys' feedback and input and help us pick the next book. But until next time, thank you guys so much for being here, and we will see you in September. Or, we'll be around before that. Bye. Bye guys.